What's up and welcome back, treyreactstoo family. As I'm bringing y'all a special video today recommended by YouTube from the channel known as YouTube Boxing. As the title of his video is called Humiliation, Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis full fight breakdown. So without further ado family, please don't forget to like, comment as well, subscribe, and turn on post notifications bell, and also share this video around. But I'm about to go big screen, get straight to it. And again, shout out to YouTube Boxing.
Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis.
Turn it up.
It's the biggest fight in YouTube boxing since Jake Paul fought Tommy Fury. And it's incredible because this is the co-main event on the same card where there's the KSI versus Tommy Fury fight.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of ready to see Logan Paul and Dillon Danis actually get after
it.
it.
Seemed like a mismatch into one of the most intriguing matchups in YouTube boxing history. Despite all the trash talk and tweets, don't forget that ultimately they have to fight. While in the trash talk, Dillon has the upper hand. In the actual fight, Logan is the clear favorite. Why? Well, it's because Danis is primarily a grappler, and the fight footage we've seen so far isn't
He's a
that
grappler,
impressive.
and he
Now,
also backed out of the
details.
KSI fight.
Dillon Danis' technique.
Truth be told, he only had 2 MMA fights, but he finished both very quickly. Here we see his first fight, and even a blind man has already noticed that Dillon, let's say, his stance is very inspired by Conor McGregor.
Very much
and for
so.
good reason, because Danis is McGregor's jiu-jitsu coach and part of the pre-fight entourage. As we can see, both have taught each other a lot. But if being more serious, the problem is that Dillon doesn't fully understand why McGregor's hands are so high and wide apart, and his jaw is in the sky. Young Conor did this in order to easily block hooks and overheads in his direction.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a really great analysis. I mean, from the little bits
and
of
have
it,
time to throw in
with Danny's hands
counterattacks
is
with
being
straight
down.
punches.
Yeah, he's very substantial to get hit in the jaw and get knocked out.
The gap between his hands was deliberate, luring the opponent to hit the
even
jaw.
when McGregor fought Mayweather, his hands weren't that low.
For this,
truthfully,
McGregor always had a pull at the ready.
it wasn't
After
until
which
like
he
the
threw
later
left
rounds that
straight,
his hands
uppercuts,
dropped.
or combinations of hooks.
McGregor quick.
Yes,
McGregor
the
is
stance
quick.
is certainly a cool-looking one, but Conor used it not to show off, but for business, to create an advantage in battle. And Dillon apparently doesn't know that in fights, you have to hit and make sure you don't get hit.
Exactly.
Because of this, a person with a negative record injects hooks and overheads to his head through his block without any problems.
If he had an opponent that was a lot
It's the
stronger and
speed
quicker,
of
he probably
movement
could have
and
knocked him
cage
out, to be
control.
honest.
Pay attention to how Danis cleverly pressures. He does not pursue his opponent, but cuts the cage and is quite light on his feet. It's also worth noting the work in the clinch. He is good enough in making the opponent quickly feel his weight. Danis definitely has a good grip and will be able to impose dirty boxing there. Most likely this will be his game plan, but more on that later. Because he simply does not have distance control, and it's not just about what we saw in the fights. There you can make an excuse on the fact that in MMA it is quite difficult to understand the distance, because there are kicks, clinch, and wrestling. But even if we look at his boxing training, all the problems of controlling the distance are present. As in fights, he is too close to a sparring partner or even a heavy bag.
Way too close.
In combat, this is reflected in the fact that he constantly gets clocked on the head without even having time to swing back. And in training, all his blows are clumsy. He doesn't even allow his hands to straighten. He hits half his arm length, so he deprives himself of a possible range advantage.
Now, let's take a look at his opponent's capabilities.
And then he hit his
Logan
opponent
Paul's
with a backhand. Or not his opponent, but a
Logan
sparring
has
partner.
no sporting desire to prove something. He is rather a businessman who earns money by entertaining the masses. Because
And
of
he's
that,
very
he
good at
succumbs to pressure
WWE.
and
I ain't
worries
gonna
in
lie to
competitive
y'all.
events, because it is simply not in his nature. This permeates his entire fighting style. Logan in fights only does what he tries to stop the actions of the enemy, but he almost never himself initiates attacks. If you study his fights in detail, it becomes noticeable that he always avoids exchanges. Logan
He
likes
might
to punch
actually
clean, accurate
start early
counter-strikes.
against Dillon Danis in
Everything
this
that is
fight,
clumsy
just
and
due to what
throws an
happened.
exchange does not interest him. Logan considers himself as a counter-striker.
Y'all been on Twitter,
In
you
all
know,
his fights,
or
he
X,
almost does
whatever.
not move and waits for the moment to counterattack. To do this, he uses only his athleticism. He really has excellent reflexes and speed. But the problem is that the counter-striker creates traps that the opponent enters, after which a counterattack is made. In one of the previous videos, I cited the example of Conor McGregor as an example of a counter-striker. His stance, the position of his hands, and jaw are all sharpened to ensure that the opponent seeks to inflict a certain set of blows on him. But Conor has a pull counter for that.
Yes.
Even in the defeat to Dustin Poirier, the opponent has repeatedly said that his counterattacks are very fast and sharp. But Logan is unfortunately unaware of the traps and feints. In all his fights, he stands still, sometimes slightly tilting the body in front, shaking the glove to relieve stress and relax in the moment of waiting for a counterattack.
When he needs to be on his front foot and go at him.
He stops the opponent's pressure with a jab or left hook, if reflexes allow him to. Due to the fact that he is just waiting and trying to catch the opponent on the move, Logan...
YouTube boxing is speaking facts right now. If Logan Paul does turn up the pressure on Dillon Danis, especially like I said earlier, if he gets on his front foot and actually goes on the attack, which I think he will in this fight, because I want to say Dillon Danis is similar to him, where he wants to start slow and then pick up the pace as rounds go later. But who knows? It might end early. But I'm about to skip this ad again. Shout out to you, YouTube boxing. Let's keep it going.
Logan simply makes his jab useless. He doesn't use his reach and doesn't try to set the distance of the fight himself, but simply tries to stop the distance cutting. Logan's anthropometry asks him to throw the combination that we call in Ukraine postman, or 1-1-2. Double jab to get close and close the view of the opponent, then powerful straight. However, Paul doesn't even use his backhand in a fight. In the second fight with KSI, he hit with the backhand 5 times in 6 rounds, 2 times of which was the uppercut, with which he dropped and rocked JJ. That is, he voluntarily ignores his most powerful weapon and relies only on the front hand. Because of that, he has problems when you pressure him. KSI understood this in their first fight, despite the difference in size. JJ successfully pressed Logan by simply provoking him to throw jab, or brazenly ignoring Paul's jab. After that, Logan simply did not have an answer. He constantly, in a panic, tries to catch with the left hook, and while retreating, his back to the ropes. When Logan moves to the sides and pressures with the jab, he really looks like the best YouTube boxer in the world.
Yeah.
He understands the logic of distance
covering.
How
good Logan Paul
Rarely
is.
does he press with one punch, for often it's a double jab. But unfortunately, when he arrives at the place of exchange, he simply freezes and does nothing. At such moments, it's ideal for him to use a combination of 1-1-2.
He wants them to be on the front foot in order.
Finishing stage of pressing, but he rarely makes mistakes when shifting. When he's moving to the left, he is always ready to throw a check hook to stop the opponent from chasing or cutting the corner. And moving to the right is accompanied by a raised hand. This is the only situation when Logan holds his hands high. A fairly simple way to protect the chin, but it always works. It's also worth noting his annoying clinch.
He called him Low Hand Logan.
Close range, he tries to tie up the opponent and not let him fight. But at the same time, he himself in the clinch delivers good blows. In fact, in this position, he dropped KSI with an uppercut, which is the most underrated weapon.
But he did hold on to his head though for that.
Does not know how powerful this punch is. When he combines
it wasn't a clean
uppercut
and
like
most boxers,
in a clinch at close range,
boxers would throw,
Logan looks invincible.
With all this information, let's try to predict the outcome of this bout. How will the fight unfold? Unfortunately, it's tough to envision a consistent scenario for a Logan Paul versus Dillon Danis match. This is due to the skills displayed by Danis and his physique. Yes, remember that Logan is much taller, heavier, and far more athletic. It's evident that he will use the reach advantage of his arms to keep Dillon at bay and systematically work with his jab, and when Danis attempts to close the distance rapidly, Paul will meet him with a rear hand uppercut or a straight punch. I believe Danis himself recognizes the difficult situation he's in. He likely won't hesitate to engage in clinches and close quarters combat.
Absolutely not.
He will utilize dirty boxing, trip attempts, and other underhanded tactics to tire out Logan's arms.
He's gonna have to
if he
get him in
manages
the
to
get him in the
survive
grapple.
the initial rounds,
Not a
Danis
grapple,
can
but
use his ring cutting skills and pressuring to wear down Logan. This might lead to a real brawl that will end with decision by the judges, where I still believe Paul will triumph. This fight is more about how Logan will win than who will win.
If he gets him in the clinch,
if Danis can't find an answer to Logan's jab, he'll likely be knocked out within the first 3 rounds.
Facts.
If he does find a way to counter Logan's jab, he might make it to the judge's decision and secure a couple of rounds. Most likely, if Dillon starts losing, he will resort to a lot of trash talk and dirty tactics, similar to Nate Diaz's approach in the fight against Jake Paul. So don't be surprised if Danis gonna pull guillotine out of nowhere. However, let's be honest, who could have predicted just a month ago that Dillon Danis would return to the spotlight in the world of misfits boxing? Moreover, he gets a matchup against Logan Paul where he'll appear as a true hero. He has managed to make a comeback in terms of reputation and public image, so don't be surprised if he actually pulls off his promise and knocks out Logan. Perhaps these mind games will truly help him achieve the unthinkable.
I don't know.
What do you think? Who and how do you think will emerge victorious in this showdown?
I don't know. Again, I don't know. Shout out to YouTube Boxer before I get in my ring. His video and social links is going to be linked down in the description down below. Also, a play card with this video is going to be going throughout the video. But like I said, family, if y'all enjoy seeing my reaction to YouTube Boxing's video, it's going to be linked down in the description down below, as well as a play card going throughout. But please, family, don't forget to like, comment, as well as subscribe, and turn on the post notifications bell so you never miss another upload, hear my voice, and see my face. If you want to see me videos to react to and or music to react to or talk about a story time, send to my page right here at trey.reacts. If you want to be my friend and be my mutual on my main page because I show love and support to people who show love and support to me right back, follow me on my main page right here at Trey vs. Dre 30. And tap in with me on my TikTok page because I am on the road to 10K, family. My TikTok page is going to be kind of kitty corner right here at Trey303023. And my business email inquiry is going to be right beside me. And again, family, like I said, about the video of him breaking down the Dillon Danis versus Logan Paul fight, it is going to be interesting to see because Dillon has been talking major stuff on Twitter or X, as people call it. And, it's going to be an interesting fight for them to both be a co-main event. And Logan Paul coming from WWE into boxing, it's going to be something very much to watch. Let me know in the comments who y'all got winning and what round. I personally have Logan. If it's an 8-round fight, I got Logan at least in 4 or 5 in the later rounds. But who knows? But again, family, me your boy treyreactstoo. I'm going to catch y'all with another banger video tomorrow. Peace.